The impact that I had there was pretty severe. My ankle burst where the clutch pedal went through it. My head was dislodged from the spine. And really, we've ended up with a Top Gear top tip. If you are a lorryist and you are going to have an accident, there's a choice of something to hit. Avoid anything with bricks in it.
Yeah, always swerve and go for the big pile of mineral water.
Yes, that's a safer bet.
Anyway, look.
But the winner, with an incredible 5 miles to the gallon, is the Audi R8. So here's a Top Gear top tip. If you've been affected by the fuel crisis, this is the supercar to buy. Got the time here. The time is 1:29.6. So, Top Gear top tip. If you want a slow car that looks like a Golf, get a Golf. It's tough. This is the one then, this is the winner.
That's it, that's the very one.
So this really is a Top Gear top tip, let's be honest, because if you're going to play conkers with your caravan, which is better than hitching it up to the back of a car and getting in everyone's way, let's be honest, this is the one to go for. What is it?
This is an Abbey GT.
4-berth.
Yes.
With separate shower cubicle.
Okay, there you have it. Here's a Top Gear top tip. Rent one of these, 35 quid a day. For someone you don't like very much, cut their car in half.
No, which was that a very, very large pickup turned up, full of heavily armed and very burly men, told us to get off their street.
Yeah. Yes. So really, we do have 2 Top Gear top tips for you tonight. One, yes, you can buy rather than rent, and 2, don't go to America. One of the top 5 worst cars I've ever driven, Volkswagen Golf GT. No, seriously, it's got like a supercharged and a turbocharged engine, which is as smooth as falling downstairs while wearing leg calipers. Basically, just work harder and buy the Golf GTI. There's a Top Gear top tip.
Good advice.
Used Minis are actually fetching more on the second-hand market than they cost to buy new. So, which model to buy? Well, let me give you a Top Gear top tip. Buy the cheapest one. It has exactly the same single overhead camshaft 1.6 litre engine as the Cooper. The only difference is a little tiny chip in the onboard computer. So you buy the cheap car, you save 1,300 quid, and then you change the chip. That'll cost you £385. So there you are. People of Bidford-on-Avon, in just under one day, your road is open. Glad to be of service. If we can do that,
yeah,
they should be able to do that. Really, we do have some Top Gear top tips here for the construction industry. Work fast, eat blackberries, get 100 trucks, not 5.
Yeah, and fit that paving machine thing with the turbocharger.
Yeah, and don't let him drive it.
No, don't do that.
Anyway.
You're looking a bit smug, but I don't think you ran out of petrol, did you?
No, what actually happened was a complete and catastrophic failure of all the engine electrics. All of them gone.
Yep. So, therefore, this is
useless as our cars, in fact.
Absolutely. But no matter, we did end up with a Top Gear top tip, OK? Yes, you can buy a supercar for less than £10,000, but for the love of God, don't.
Astra convertible from Vauxhall, they say it's been built from the ground up as a convertible.
How do you design it from not the ground up? If you start from the top, you might start here and then it would be too low, we'd never get it in. If you're designing a car, here's a tip, always start from the bottom.
That's a Top Gear top
And don't
tip.
start too near the left-hand side of the paper, otherwise I think you'll end up with a really ugly back. I think, how much is it?
£17,000, goes on sale in spring.
Yes. Top Gear. Really, a Top Gear top tip there. I think you'll find if you're planning on jumping a party, any party, don't use a stretched Lincoln.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Good, useful advice.
Yeah, there is one thing I have to say, though, about the Monaro. It does have a very cheap feel inside, just like the Cadillac, but that's because this is cheap. I mean, they've just lowered the price now to £29,000. £29,000 For a V8 muscle car, it's just such good value.
£16,000, less than that.
I know, remarkable. So really, we've got another Top Gear top tip. If you want a Cadillac, buy a Vauxhall.
No, I would have the new VW Passat. Drove this recently. It's a good car to drive. Slightly more expensive than that, but not by much, and it's got a quality feel.
That girl behind you, taller than you.
She is taller than me, I'm aware of it.
Keep talking.
I haven't even turned around, I know she's taller than me.
She's come out in her nightie, which is quite funny.
You are wearing your pyjamas.
Yeah, I'm wearing my pyjamas, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Anyway, a Top Gear top tip there. If you want the best car in the class, you buy the BMW 3 Series. If you want to be perceived as a human being, get one of those. But I've always wanted to drive a Rolls into a swimming pool.
But you ruined it, you ruined the pool, you ruined their day.
I also ruined my suit.
Yes, probably.
It's about this big now.
Oh, can I borrow that?
Yeah, that's good. We can salvage something
Not
from
an
this.
entirely wasted day.
Yeah.
No, what we have got here, though, is actually a very good Top Gear top tip, which is, if you want us to open something, ring Alan Titchmarsh.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm a fool, I'm the nitwit here.
Car good,
Okay,
you bad.
good. We do arrive at a Top Gear top tip out of all of this, which is that if you only have £1,500 to spend on your coupe, buy Japanese. Doesn't matter what it is, but go Japanese.
And then, crucially, leave it alone.
So they've built it to compete with the Fiat Brava and the Toyota Stara, both of which are cars that aren't built anymore.
So they're competing with cars that were
I
out
was
of
confident
date.
of winning this competition. And it's just... if you see what those coming, run. They are absolutely awful.
Are they going to be sold in Britain?
Well, certainly in bits of Europe. They'll cost about £3,000, all of which you will lose the moment you take the whole lot.
Yeah.
Worthless.
Top Gear top tip, avoid.
But it is beautiful. Look.
And do you know what he said? As I got out of the car, do you want to go get a pint?
Oh, good boy. Good boy.
Believe it. So there we are. We have a Top Gear top tip for you. If you live in Greenwich and you work in Buckingham Palace and you're looking for a new way of getting to work, run.
Nearly one.
So he cleared none.
None at all. But it was fun.
Fine, and there was a serious message in there. Really, a very serious health and safety message. If you're an ice cream van driver, you see some bouncy castles, for heaven's sake, get out of your van before jumping on them.
No, absolutely. If you stay in, there is a very real danger that you could be seriously killed to death.
Top Gear top tip there. Anyway, we must... So were you killed to death then?
No, I wasn't, but I did prove that if you do live in, I don't know, that thunderstorm valley in Oklahoma and you crash into a substation in your car, everything's going to be fine.
Good, another Top Gear top tip there.
Yes.
Very useful. Let's do the cool wall, shall we? Yeah. I think, honestly, we have to be magnanimous here because only one of the cars has actually made it unmodified. So, that brings us on to a Top Gear top tip. If people of Surrey, you want to replace your BMW X5 with something that's brilliant off-road, simple, inexpensive,
Easy to maintain, surprisingly comfortable.
absolutely, then you've got to get yourself a Volkswagen Beetle.
What?
It's true.
No, he's right.
It's true.
He's right.
You've replaced all the electrics in that car.
They're not selling them off at 3 years, they might be keeping them for 4 years or 5 years. That means that usual supply of 3-year-old mainstream cars has dried up. Short supply, firmer prices. The Top Gear top tip, if you want something like that, don't buy it now. But if anybody here's got a 3-year-old Toyota RAV4 they want to get rid of, I know a bloke who'll have your arm off.
Time to sell it is now. Good. OK, what else?
Sports cars. Now, you'd expect us to say on Top Gear, it's coming up to summer, don't go and buy a convertible sports car because everybody else wants one, the prices go up.
Yeah.
Here's a Top Gear top tip. It's not true.
My brother, this weekend, burnt his finger on a hot kebab skewer at a barbecue. And, well, he had the same system on his computer. Locked him out of his laptop. Put his finger on it, didn't recognise it, all burnt, couldn't get in.
So if you'd had an Audi A8...
Well, it'd have been locked out.
Well, there's another Top Gear top tip right there. If you've got a kitchen, cook your food in there, particularly for Australian. Don't do it over coal in the garden.
Yes,
No, he's right, actually. This is a very, very straightforward lifestyle choice, I think. You either embrace the modern world and the Audi A8, or you live like a medieval tramp.
With the roof done, I now had to sort the bonnet.
Here's a tip. Should you ever roll,
your coupe stylish and need to straighten a dent out like that, here's what you do. That's not... Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
But the
not.
thing is, Jeremy, you are uber male, you know, and Paris is uber female. And I think that you're both, you're the two sides of the same coin, actually.
Well, I don't put pictures of myself naked on the internet. That's one thing I don't do. Maybe I'll give it a whirl.
You know, well, actually, neither did she, to her credit, if someone else did it.
Here's a tip, Paris, if you're watching. Have sex without a camera.
Liquid nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
And that's got all the oxygen in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the bottom end, fuel, which is rubber.
Don't. Here's a tip. Please, I'm a doctor of engineering twice. If you use rubber as fuel, you're not going to go as far as if you use, like, petrol or dynamite.
Hey, Jeremy.
As I'm sure you know, you can't really have fun on the roads anymore. You know, there are too many speed cameras, there's a civil servant in a van in every bush. So, we've got a tip. Don't buy a Ferrari, buy a field. And it's raining. Oh! Ouch. Yes, now, you see, that was a bad plan. Here's a tip. If you've got a Ferrari 612, don't take your wipers up, because you're going to break them. Oh, my...
Come on, that is how you test a vehicle.
Here's a tip. Change gear before you get to a corner.
The lamb, sadly, is overcooked, so 2,000 revs for 2 hours is far too long.
That's the problem, you see. We cooked it on a 4-speed car. Here's a tip. If you're cooking lamb, make sure it's 5-speed, preferably 6-speed. OK. What's the top speed of that thing, James, do you reckon?
What, 90 miles an hour?
Well, here is a top tip for Hollywood heroes. If you're being chased by a car which is slower than the car you're in, simply drive faster than it. Hey, now, we've got some important consumer news for everybody. When you go into a car showroom now, the salesman will try to sell you lots of electronic bits and bobs for your car. Here's our Top Gear top tip. Don't bother with any of them, because they don't work, any of them.
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth
never works.
It doesn't.
Does it?
Hammond uses it, and it's like he's sitting at the bottom of a river.
Yeah, well, to be fair, sometimes I am.
We need to stop it, OK? We need to stop it, because the advantages are huge, because if you get rid of magpies, you have more songbirds, so the air sounds nicer. You know, you've got tits and... Why did I say tits? Sparrows. You've got sparrows and all that sort of thing, and that would be brilliant. Plus, we don't have to do that, and that'll make the roads safer. So there we are, Top Gear, top tip. Kill all magpies, and kill them now.
I had to, I had to drive down the street and back.
And that's the
Window
test.
down, he had the reggae on, it was like,
That's the test in the Virgin Islands.
Exactly.
So if there's a top tip for anybody who's finding it a struggle to get a driving licence here, pop over there.
Slip over there.
So,
One thing I've learned is that the premiums for 17-year-old girls are half what they are for 17-year-old boys.
seriously?
Half the money.
Well, there's a Top Gear top tip right there. If you're a 17-year-old boy, you need car insurance, slice your penis off.
I would have done.
I did.
Yeah.
I nearly did, I should say.
No, that explains a great many things. We put the BMW round. It did it in 1:25.3. Look at that. That's the same as a convertible Lamborghini Gallardo. So really, we've got a Top Gear top tip here. If you are an employer and you take someone on who has a Lexus, he'll be late for work and he'll be a dork when he gets there. I've been driving around the summit. All over Britain, by motorways, farmers are putting lorries in their fields and then selling the side of them to, like, local companies.
Yeah.
Here's a tip. If you are one of these local companies, keep it brief. Because I saw one the other day that said, want to use Jag? Go to www.iwanttousejag.co.tv or call Debbie on 012. I'm going 70 miles an hour. Whoa,
Yeah.
I never saw it. What was it on about?
They really are farmers, not copywriters, aren't they? That's the
No,
problem.
absolutely.
It wants to be sort of, use Jags next left.
No, that's
Yeah.
too many words. Keep it tight.
OK, Jags left.
No, I was in that Porsche
Jags.
and woof. No, Jag's too low. Woof, that's Jag. I want one of those. See, I can't work it out. I mean, for instance, we know Saabs are driven by architects, yeah? We know Audis are driven by people who play golf. We know Land Rover Discoveries are driven by murderers.
Ah, no.
What?
I'm going to have to put you up on that because I think you'll find murderers drive a Renault Espace.
Well, Kenneth Noy, who was a murderer, he had a Land Rover Discovery.
So he may have done, but Harold Shipman drove a Renault Espace.
Did he?
Fred West drove a Renault Espace. Peter Sutcliffe drove a Renault 16.
It's only because the Espace hadn't been invented.
Exactly.
This is a Top Gear top tip. If you're a policeman and there's been a murder in your area, simply arrest anyone who has a practical Renault. That's fascinating. I think that's very interesting. Anyway,
There is one problem with this fuel-saving car, though, isn't there?
what?
It uses quite a lot of fuel.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Can't argue with that. When we did a test last week, we left the track here, went back to London, so you've got a bit of country road, bit of dual carriageway, bit of city driving, and it averaged 38 miles to the gallon. And we did the same route in a Volkswagen Polo Blue Motion, and that did 50 miles to the gallon.
So that's, there you are, we have a Top Gear top tip. If you want to buy a car to save fuel, buy this one and don't save any.
No, but you won't save anything, but you will have an enormous amount of fun not saving any money.
That's
fine by me. Oh, now, are there any girls here?
Well,
Good. Don't ever faint in Holland. That would be my Top Gear top tip for the night. We've got some footage here that explains what I'm on about. It's the start of a race. There's the grid girl. Oh, she's got a bit wobbly. And she's fainted. There you go. So you're thinking, poor girl. Yeah, you're thinking, oh no, now she's lying on the track. So as we can see, men in high visibility jackets have come over to make sure she's okay. Or are they making sure she's okay? How do you make... Oh, put your hand on her bottom. That's the ticket. That's what he's done. Now let's hear what the driver's got to say.
Check my auto. Pull my auto. Pull. Wow. Is my auto okay?
get the girl off! That's a racing driver, isn't it? All over.
You really should bear it in mind when you're driving, particularly petrol, whatever it is, £5.68 a gallon, okay, is every time you press the brake pedal, you are turning your money into heat. Pointless heat. You're heating your wheel arches, which is absolute waste of time. So if you just think, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my foot off the accelerator, keep the car in gear, and if it's a modern car, okay, as you slow down for the roundabout, the traffic lights, whatever it might be, you're not using any fuel at all. Top Gear top tip.
Braking is actually the worst thing you can do. Actually, I'd like to modify that. Sometimes it's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, yes,
For example, if a pram rolls out in front of the car, don't think, well, this is going to cost me. Stop the car.
But if a pram rolls out, stop, but then send the mother the invoice. I don't know if you saw in the papers this week, a woman had a baby while she was on her way to hospital in a Kia, okay? Now, they've called the baby Kia. Yeah, I
Could have
mean,
been worse. It could have been Proton.
because these people called their baby Kia, the people who make the cars, have actually given them a Kia car, yeah? We've got a picture of the handover, I think. There you go, look. Now, this brings us on to a very important Top Gear top tip. If you're on your way to hospital, in labour, and you're in a Kia, for God's sake, get out.
Let the child be christened Skip, bus stop, phone box, anything. Just get out.
I christened this child Doorway of Curries. Because at least that way you'd get a free microwave and not a hideous car like that.
I reckon this whole story and Baby Kia here, it could spark a whole load of copycats, couldn't it? Because a load of dads waiting until the very last minute on the due date and then secretly hiring a Lamborghini Murcielago and driving really slowly to the hospital. You all right, darling? You can hang on.
Yeah, why are you called Pagani Zonda with the optional ceramic brake package? Now, I think we have got a verdict because the 3 cars we took to Iceland all started out as coupes and then had the roofs cut off to make them convertibles. Those 3 were all designed to be 2-seater.
From the start.
Exactly. So although we can't agree on which car we'd have, we can give you a Top Gear top tip, and that's if you want a 2-seater convertible, buy one that was designed to be a 2-seater convertible.
Yes.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next week. Good night.